Your willing not beyond the obvious needs indicate that you are prepared to receive and apply this knowledge. The foundation of manifesting without words lies in understanding the power of assumption. An assumption is not a hope. It is not a wish. It is not a desire. An assumption is a state of consciousness that you inhabit completely, a feeling that you embody totally, a knowing that penetrates every fiber of your being. When you assume something, you do not hope it would happen. You do not wonder if it might occur. You do not question whether it is possible. You simply know it to be true. You feel it to be real. You live from the end of its fulfillment. Let me illustrate this with a simple example. If I were to ask you right now whether you are sitting or standing, you would not need to think about it. You would not need to hope about it. You would not need to affirm it. You would simply know without any doubt what your current position is. This knowing, this absolute certainty, this unquestioned assumption of your current state, this is the same quality of consciousness you must bring to your desires. You must assume your wish fulfilled with the same naturalness, the same certainty, the same unquestioned knowing that you bring to your current circumstances. But how does one assume the wish fulfilled without words? How does one embody a desired state without affirmations or mantras? The answer lies in the realm of feeling, in the domain of sensation, in the world of inner experience. Feeling is the secret. Feeling is the key. Feeling is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. Not emotional feeling, mind you, but the feeling of naturalness. The feeling of reality, the feeling of this is how it is rather than this is how I hope it will be. When you desire something, you must first discover how it would feel to already have it. Not how it would feel to get it, not how it would feel to work to, but how it would feel to already possess it, to already be it, to already live from its reality. This feeling is not manufactured through mental effort. It is discovered through imagination, through the gentle art of entering into the reality of your fulfilled desire and exploring its emotional landscape. Imagine for a moment that you desire financial abundance. Most people approach this desire with words: I want money, I need more income, I hope to be wealthy. But these words actually reinforce the current state of lack because they spring from the consciousness of need, from the feeling of not having, from the assumption of limitation. Instead, you must discover how it feels to be naturally wealthy, to live in the consciousness of abundance, to assume the state of financial freedom as naturally as you now assume your current circumstances. This discovery cannot be made through thinking about wealth or talking about prosperity. It must be made through entering into the state of wealth itself, through inhabiting the consciousness of abundance, through feeling yourself to be that which you desire to become. And this is done in silence, in the quiet sanctuary of your imagination, in the sacred space where consciousness meets consciousness and creates new realities. Close your eyes for a moment and feel into this. Imagine that you are now naturally wealthy, that money flows to you as easily as breath, that financial abundance is simply your normal state of being. Do not think about how this happened. Do not concern yourself with the means. Do not question the possibility. Simply feel into the reality of it. Feel the confidence that comes with financial security. Feel the ease that comes with abundance. Feel the natural, effortless way you move through the world when money is no longer a concern. This feeling, this assumption, this natural state of consciousness, this is your creative power in action. This is manifestation without words. This is the secret method by which consciousness creates reality. When you can inhabit this state naturally, when you can assume this feeling effortlessly, when you can live from this consciousness consistently, the outer world must conform to your inner conviction. It has no choice, for consciousness is the only reality, and the world is simply consciousness projected into form. But you must understand that this is not a technique to be practiced occasionally, not a method to be used only when you desire something. This is a way of being, a state of consciousness, a fundamental understanding of how creation works. You are always assuming something, you are always feeling some state. You are always living from some level of consciousness. The question is not whether you are creating, you are always creating. The question is what you are creating, what you are assuming, what state of consciousness you are embodying moment by moment. Most people live in the consciousness of their current circumstances. They assume their limitations to be real. They feel their problems to be permanent. They embody the very states they claim to want to change. They say they want love while feeling lonely. They declare their desire for success while assuming failure. They speak of their dreams while living from the consciousness of their current limitations. This is why their words have no power, why their affirmations produce no results, why their efforts lead to frustration rather than fulfillment. The secret lies in reversing this process entirely. Instead of living from your current circumstances and hoping they will change, you must live from your desired circumstances and allow the current ones to fade away. Instead of assuming your limitations and trying to overcome them, you must assume your fulfilled desires and allow the limitations to dissolve. Instead of feeling your problems and speaking about solutions, you must feel the solutions and allow the problems to become irrelevant. This is not positive thinking. This is not wishful thinking. This is not denial of your current circumstances. This is a fundamental shift in consciousness, a complete transformation of your state of being, a total revolution in your understanding of who you are and how reality works. When you truly grasp this, when you fully embody this understanding, you will never again waste your time with techniques or methods or practices designed to change your outer world. You will instead focus entirely on changing your inner world, knowing that the outer must follow. Let me share with you how this applies to every area of life, how this principle of silent manifestation can transform every aspect of your experience. Consider the realm of relationships. Most people who desire love approach it from the consciousness of loneliness. They speak of wanting a partner while feeling incomplete. They affirm their desire for romance while assuming their current solitude to be their natural state. But love cannot come to one who feels unloved. Partnership cannot manifest for one who assumes themselves to be alone. Romance cannot bloom in the consciousness of isolation. To manifest love without words, you must first become love. You must assume the consciousness of one who is deeply, naturally, effortlessly loved. You must feel into the reality of being cherished, of being valued, of being the object of someone's devoted affection. Not as something you hope to experience, but as something you already are. Not as a future possibility, but as a present reality. Not as something you lack, but as something you embody. This assumption, this feeling, this state of consciousness, this is your prayer. This is your manifestation technique. This is your creative power in action. When you truly inhabit the consciousness of being loved, when you naturally feel yourself to be lovable, when you assume the state of romantic fulfillment as easily as you assume your own name, the perfect partner must appear in your experience. They must, because consciousness creates reality, and you have assumed the reality of love. The same principle applies to health, to career, to every circumstance you could possibly desire to change. Health is not something you get. It is something you are. Success is not something you achieve. It is something you embody. Happiness is not something you find. It is something you assume. And all of this happens in silence, in the quiet depths of consciousness, in the sacred space where you meet yourself as you truly are. But you must be warned, this path requires complete honesty with yourself. You cannot fool consciousness. You cannot deceive the creative power within you. You cannot pretend to assume a state. while secretly living from its opposite. Your feelings will always reveal your true assumptions. Your emotions will always expose your actual state of consciousness. Your inner experience will always show you what you are truly creating. This is why most people struggle with manifestation, why their efforts produce mixed results, why their desired changes seem to come and go rather than stabilizing permanently. They attempt to assume their desires while continuing to feel their limitations. They try to embody new states while remaining attached to old ones. They speak of their wishes while living from their worries. They affirm their dreams while assuming their current circumstances to be more real. The path of silent manifestation demands complete commitment to your desired state. It requires that you choose moment by moment to inhabit the consciousness of your fulfilled desire rather than the consciousness of your current circumstances. It asks that you feel your way into your wish fulfilled and remain there, regardless of what the outer world seems to show you, regardless of what other people tell you is possible, regardless of what your own past experience suggests about your limitations. This is not always easy, especially at first. Your old patterns of consciousness are strong. Your habitual states are comfortable. Your familiar feelings seem natural and right. To assume a new state, to inhabit a different consciousness, to feel yourself to be other than you have always believed yourself to be, this requires courage, persistence, and unwavering faith in the creative power of your own awareness. But as you practice this sacred art, as you become skilled in the science of assumption, as you master the technique of living from the something miraculous begins to happen. The new state becomes natural. The desired consciousness becomes comfortable. The fulfilled feeling becomes your normal way of being. And when this happens, when your assumption becomes as natural as breathing, when your desired state becomes as automatic as your heartbeat, manifestation becomes effortless, creation becomes spontaneous, and your entire world begins to reflect your inner transformation. I want you to understand that this is not a temporary technique, but a permanent way of life. This is not a method you use when you want something, but a consciousness you embody at all times. This is not a practice you engage in occasionally, but a state of being you maintain consistently. You are always assuming something. You are always feeling some state. You are always creating some reality. The question is whether you are doing so consciously or unconsciously, deliberately or accidentally, from wisdom or from ignorance. The mystics and sages throughout history have understood this truth, though they have expressed it in different languages and through different symbols. The Buddha spoke of consciousness creating all phenomena. Jesus taught that faith, the size of a mustard seed, could move mountains. The ancient Hermetic text declared that as above, so below, that the inner world creates the outer world. They all pointed to the same fundamental truth. Consciousness is the only reality. Assumption creates experience. And the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret of all creation. But they also understood something else that is crucial for you to grasp. This power is not special. It is not reserved for the chosen few. It is not the privilege of the particularly spiritual or gifted. This is the natural creative power of consciousness itself. And since you are consciousness, since you are awareness, since you are the very I am that creates all experience, this power is already yours. You do not need to develop it. You do not need to earn it. You do not need to prove yourself worthy of it. You simply need to understand it and use it consciously. Every moment of every day you are demonstrating this power. When you worry, you are assuming unwanted circumstances and feeling them into reality. When you doubt, you are embodying limitation and creating experiences that confirm your doubts. When you feel sorry for yourself, you are inhabiting the consciousness of victimhood and magnetizing situations that support that assumption. You are already a master manifestor. The only question is what you are choosing to manifest. This realization should fill you with both tremendous excitement and profound responsibility. Excitement, because it means that you have unlimited creative power, that there is no desire beyond your ability to fulfill, that there is no circumstance you cannot change through the proper assumption of consciousness. Responsibility, because it means that you are the author of your own experience, that your life is the result of your own assumptions, that your circumstances reflect your own states of consciousness. Once you fully accept this responsibility, once you completely embrace this power, once you totally commit to living from your desired states rather than your current circumstances, your life will begin to transform in ways that will seem miraculous to others, but will feel natural to you. This is because you will have aligned yourself with the fundamental creative principle of the universe. You will have harmonized your consciousness with the divine law of assumption. You will have become a conscious participant in the eternal process of creation. Let me give you specific guidance on how to practice this art of silent manifestation in your daily life. First, you must become aware of your current assumptions, your habitual states, your automatic feelings. Throughout the day, notice what you are assuming about yourself, what you are feeling about your circumstances, what consciousness you are inhabiting from moment to moment. Do not judge these states. Do not try to change them immediately. Simply observe them with compassionate awareness. This observation will reveal to you the states from which you have been creating your current experience. You will begin to see the direct connection between your inner assumptions and your outer circumstances, between your habitual feelings and your recurring experiences, between your states of consciousness and the patterns of your life. This understanding is crucial because you cannot change what you are not aware of. You cannot transform what you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot transcend what you fail to recognize. Once you have developed this awareness, once you can clearly see the states you've been inhabiting unconsciously, you can begin to choose your states consciously. Instead of automatically assuming limitation, you can deliberately assume abundance. Instead of habitually feeling lack, you can intentionally feel fulfillment. Instead of unconsciously embodying your current circumstances, you can consciously inhabit your desired reality. This choice, this conscious selection of your state, this deliberate assumption of your desired consciousness, this is your moment of power. This is your creative act. This is your participation in the divine process of manifestation. And it happens in complete silence, in the quiet depths of your being, in the sacred space where you meet yourself as the creator of your own experience. The beauty of this method lies in its simplicity and its universality. You do not need special circumstances to practice it. You do not need particular environments to apply it. You do not need other people's permission to use it. Whether you are alone or in a crowd, whether you are busy or at rest, whether you are facing challenges or enjoying success, you can always choose your state. You can always assume your desired consciousness. You can always inhabit the feeling of your wish fulfilled. In fact, the more challenging your current circumstances appear to be, the more powerful your practice becomes. When everything in your outer world seems to contradict your desired state, when all evidence appears to deny your assumption, when every voice tells you that your wish is impossible, these are the moments when your conscious choice of state becomes most creative, most transformative, most miraculous in its effect. This is why the great masters often faced their greatest challenges with perfect peace, why the enlightened sages remained unshaken by apparent disasters, why the mystics could find joy in the midst of sorrow. They understood that outer circumstances are simply the delayed reflection of past states of consciousness, that current conditions are merely the echo of previous assumptions, that what appears to be reality is actually just the shadow of former thoughts and feelings. When you truly grasp this understanding, when you completely embody this knowledge, when you fully live for it, you become unshakable in your desired states. unmovable in your chosen assumptions, undefeatable in your conscious creations. You realize that no outer circumstance can change your inner state unless you allow it to, that no external condition can affect your consciousness unless you give it permission, that no apparent reality can alter your assumption unless you choose to abandon it. This is the ultimate freedom, the final liberation, the complete victory over all limitation and lack. Not because you have changed the world, but because you have understood your relationship to it. Not because you have overcome circumstances, but because you have recognized their true nature. Not because you have defeated your problems, but because you have realized that you are the consciousness from which all problems and all solutions arise. From this understanding comes a profound peace, a deep confidence, a natural knowing that whatever you can feel yourself to be, you can and must become. Whatever state you can inhabit with naturalness, you will express with certainty. Whatever consciousness you can assume with consistency, you will manifest with inevitability. This is not positive thinking or hopeful wishing. This is the fundamental law of consciousness, the basic principle of creation, the eternal truth of existence. As you continue to practice this art of silent manifestation, as you become more skilled in the science of assumption, as you grow more comfortable with living from the end, you will notice that your relationship to desire itself begins to change. No longer will you experience desire as lack, as want, as evidence of what you do not have. Instead, you will recognize desire as the first stirring of consciousness toward its own fulfillment, as the initial movement of awareness toward its expanded expression, as a gentle invitation to inhabit a new and wonderful state of being. This transformation in your relationship to desire is crucial because most people torture themselves with their desires, using them as proof of their limitations rather than as promise of their possibilities. They feel bad about wanting what they do not have instead of feeling wonderful about becoming what they desire to be. They use their desires to reinforce their sense of lack instead of using them to inspire their assumption of fulfillment. When you understand desire correctly, when you relate to it properly, when you use it wisely, it becomes your greatest friend, your most reliable guide, your clearest indication of the directions in which consciousness is seeking to expand through you. Your desires are not random, they are not meaningless, they are not evidence of your greed or selfishness. They are the voice of your deeper self calling you to fuller expression. They are the invitation of your true nature to greater realization. They are the promise of consciousness to manifest more of its infinite potential through your individual experience. This is why every sincere desire can be fulfilled, why every genuine wish can be realized, why every authentic longing can be satisfied. Not because the universe is obligated to give you what you want, but because consciousness is seeking to express more of itself through your experience, and your desires are the very means by which this expansion occurs. When you assume the state of your desire fulfilled, when you inhabit the consciousness of your wish realized, when you embody the feeling of having what you seek, you are simply allowing consciousness to expand into the fuller expression that it already contains in potential. This understanding removes all struggle from the process of manifestation, all effort from the art of creation, all strain from the practice of assumption. You are not trying to get something from somewhere else. You are simply allowing something that already exists in consciousness to express itself through your experience. You are not attempting to change the universe. You are simply permitting the universe to express more of its infinite abundance through your individual life. You are not working to create something new. You are merely allowing something eternal to manifest in new forms. When you approach manifestation from this understanding, when you practice assumption from this perspective, when you live from this consciousness, the entire process becomes effortless, natural, and joyful. Instead of struggling to create your desires, you relax into allowing them. Instead of working to manifest your wishes, you rest in the knowing that they are already yours in consciousness. Instead of striving to become what you want to be, you simply recognize and embody what you already are in truth. This shift from effort to ease, from struggle to surrender, from working to allowing, this is the mark of true spiritual maturity, the sign of real metaphysical understanding, the evidence, genuine mystical realization. And it all happens in silence, in the quiet depths of consciousness, in the sacred space where you meet yourself as both the seeker and the sought, both the creator and the creation, both the one who desires and the one who fulfills. As we near the culmination of our exploration tonight, I want to leave you with the most important truth of all. You do not need to perfect the practice before it begins to work for you. You do not need to master every aspect of assumption before you start to see results. You do not need to understand every detail of consciousness before you begin to transform your life. The moment you begin to practice this art, the moment you start to assume your desired states, the moment you choose to inhabit the consciousness of your wishes fulfilled that very moment, the creative power of the universe begins to work on your behalf. Do not wait for complete understanding before you begin. Do not postpone your practice until you feel more confident. Do not delay your transformation until you believe you are ready. You are ready now. You are capable now. You are powerful now. The consciousness that can create worlds lives within you at this very moment. And it is eager to express itself through your experience, to manifest itself through your life, to realize itself through your individual journey. Start tonight, start now, start with whatever desire feels most natural to you. Enter into the silence of your own being, discover the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Assume the state of your desire realized. Do not ask how it will happen. Do not worry about when it will manifest. Do not question whether you deserve it. Simply feel yourself to be that which you desire to become, and rest in that feeling as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Remember always that you are not a victim of circumstances, but the creator of experience. You are not at the mercy of conditions, but the author of reality. You are not subject to the world, but the consciousness from which all worlds arise. This is your true identity. This is your actual nature. This is your actional nature. Everything else is just temporary appearance, passing phenomena, the dreams of consciousness as it explores its own infinite potential. When you live from this truth, when you create from this understanding, when you manifest from this consciousness, you will discover that life becomes an endless adventure in creative expression, that existence becomes a joyful exploration of infinite possibility, that reality becomes a magnificent canvas upon which consciousness paints ever more beautiful and wonderful experiences. This is your birthright. This is your inheritance. This is your destiny. Not as something you must earn or achieve or prove yourself worthy of, but as something you already are, something you have always been, something you can never cease to be. You are consciousness itself, playing in the field of manifestation, exploring the realms of creation, discovering the wonders of assumption made manifest. Go forth from this place knowing who you are, understanding what you possess, confident in your creative power. Live in the silence where miracles are born. Dwell in the consciousness where all things are possible. Inhabit the states where every desire finds its natural fulfillment. And remember, always remember, that the greatest creative acts require no words at all, only the quiet assumption of the wish fulfilled, and the natural feeling of being that which you desire to become. The universe awaits your conscious participation in its eternal dance of creation. Consciousness calls you to express more fully its infinite potential. Your true self invites you to realize more completely the magnificent being that you already are. Answer this call in silence, respond to this invitation in the depths of your being, and watch as your entire world transforms to match the beauty and wonder of your most cherished dreams and deepest knowing of what is truly possible for you as consciousness itself, expressing through the magnificent vehicle of your individual life.